Hi, Coach Patrick from MarathonNation.us, home of the Faster, Smarter Runner. Back again with another Boston Run Project training guide explanation video. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about determining the proper training path for Boston. Now, you've already gone through the previous step, which is determining the gap between your current fitness and then the target time you feel you need based on the framework of the guide to get a slot to Boston. The larger that gap, this is common sense, but I'm going to put it out there. The larger that gap, the more training you need to do to bridge that gap. There are 4 levels of gaps, okay? The lowest, level 1, being the closest to your qualification standard. The highest level 4, being the furthest. The further away you are from that Boston qualification standard, the longer you need to train. And this, the Boston Run Project guide basically has 4 blocks of training, 4 4-week blocks of training. So if you are indeed have a level 4 gap, then you will most likely need about 16 weeks of training into your race. So if you are picking a race for Boston, in our world, most people normally go out and say, hey, I want to run, I have no idea, name the Philly Marathon, I'm on Philly. And then they start training for Philly. I don't want you to think that way. Inside Marathon Nation, we do things a little differently. And instead, we're looking at your fitness, your ability, and we're saying, hey, let's flip that and say, hey, my gap is this big. And now I need to be able to dedicate at least 16 weeks of training to cover my level 4 gap. And as such, I can't do Philly because Philly is only in 8 weeks. I need to pick a race that's at least 16 weeks out. So in other words, we let your fitness and your goals for your qualification standard effort dictate the race that you choose, and not vice versa. Very, very important. So looking through the gap scenario that you have in front of you, and you understand what the different gaps are, now you know what your training path is. And keeping in mind, of course, that the deadline is September. And so we need to get this done before you get to September. So you have to plan things out. If your gap is significant, say you're a level 3, level 4 gap, but you don't have 12 or 16 weeks to train, you've only got 8 weeks to train, then they need to get tricky in trying to find a race that will complement your running style and allow you to run as fast as possible. And that means probably upping the amount of money that you spend on travel and race registration to find a marathon within your neck of the woods, or perhaps not, perhaps on the other side of the country, other side of the world, I have no idea, that is fast enough for you to get that standard that you feel like you need. So remember, we use our fitness gap, the difference between your current fitness now and the Boston qualification standard you've set for yourself, to determine the length of the training period required to achieve the fitness and the result that you want on race day. All right? Thanks so much. Coach Patrick from MarathonNation.us, home of the Faster, Smarter Runner, signing off. I'll be back soon with another Boston Run Project video.